Welcome to the JAMODI podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it. That's a great transition right into that question of what role do analytics play with your style of coaching?
Well, Ken Palm is my homepage. So, I look at it probably during the season about 10 times a day. So I'll look at all our stuff. I'll look at, the opponents. I'll look at how we're stacking up in conference. And they have the 4 factors on there, which is, effective field goal percentage, turnover percentage, free throw attempts, and rebounding percentages. And so, he basically says, the better you are at those 4 factors, that's what drives winning, over everything else. And I had to agree with them, looking at it, that when you do those things, you are going to be successful. And so, for the past 10 or 12 years, I've lived by that. We did take a service, HD Intelligence, this year, which is similar. It's a very, very expensive deal. I think we paid maybe $5,000 for it, but it was very, very good. They break it down and they make it very easy to understand. They'll have their kind of 4 factors, but it's more, and it's broken down a little bit more in depth, but they'll have it like green light, yellow light, red light, so you can just visually, and you can show it to your players and they can look at it.
That's powerful.
Yeah. It is. And so they did a great job with that. Evan Maya has a website as well that is, right now, it's free. There's a lot of great stuff, great information on that. He has it broken down by like guys that are in the transfer portal and what their efficiency was. And so you can look at it, and if you're trying to decide between 2 players, and one player is a positive and one player is a negative, well, it makes the decision making that much easier. And so, and then Ken Palm's also good too, because it does break down your players and it gives them like an offensive efficiency. And so, like, a lot of times, players just look at the point score. Well, you can average 20 a game, but your efficiency is, 89 on Ken Palm, whereas, some guys are like 130 or something. Anything over 100 on Ken Palm, I consider, pretty good. But then you have, guys in the 80s, they may be scoring a lot of points, but you're not really helping the team win by scoring those points. If you're averaging 20, but you're taking 25 shots, that's not helping the team win.
I would imagine knowing that information really helps with your one-on-one conversations with players, because so often, maybe just at high school, but it's when we're talking with players about where we think they're at, it's so subjective. I just think you're a little bit by into a player that, maybe there's not a lot of relationship or trust, which normally if they're frustrated, trust is a little bit damaged, whether that's right or wrong. So it sounds like having that information can just get you guys both to where the player needs to be quicker.
Yeah, the HD Intelligence would also have like shot charts for the guys, each individual guy, and it would have it yellow, red, green, where they're shooting from. They'd have points per possession. Like, if you shoot inside 3-point line, it's like 0.8 points per shot attempt or something. If you shoot a 3, it's like 1.1. If you shoot a layup, and they have it all broken down, and then they show where each individual player is. So, like, for example, Effie was one. He had, a 15-foot baseline shot that he loved, and, he could shoot it pretty well. But, if you look at it, it's just not a very efficient shot, but he never would really understand that. But then you like show him, and here's the shot chart, and here's how many points you got out of that, and then they visually see, oh, okay, now I understand, why you prefer me, to get in the paint and shoot it, or, so it definitely can help coach your players. And I think it helped our guys, kind of understand what we were trying to do. It's not to say you can't shoot a 15-foot, jump shot. We're not saying that at all.
You just better not miss it.
we're just saying don't shoot that the first 10 seconds of the
Right,
shot clock.
right.
Like, let's try and get the ball in the paint where, you're scoring over a point of possession, or let's
Yeah.
go get an offensive rebound where you're getting, a point and a half per possession, so just, kind of showing the guys all that, I think really is really, really beneficial.
Have you always been into analytics, or is that something that you've grown into? Because I asked that. I think that's a big deficiency for me. I
That's
don't.
probably why you didn't sign with UT Arlington. Is because I'm a highly analytical guy, and I was probably trying to recruit you
And I was
analytically.
just like this. No, I just,
No,
I,
I've always been that way.
man, yeah.
Like when I was an assistant coach, I had a system for recruiting. I had a system for letters that I was getting. By the way, you were one of the only ever recruits that like asked me if that was my real handwriting on the letter. So I don't know if you remember that or not,
That's
but
good.
yeah, I had a system for that I did it. So yeah, I've always been probably too analytical. I probably, that's why it's important to have, assistants on staff that are the other end of that, and they balance me out. But yeah, that's definitely my style, and uh, probably something that I need to be aware of, because you can probably go overboard with it as well.
Hmm. I don't know. I don't. I think the only way, in my opinion, to go overboard is if subtle differences lead to drastic changes
Yeah,
in with your personnel, with your style of play, with what you're doing. Because you alluded to it, like what you went through with UTA. Things are going we're going pretty good, and I made a shift
yeah,
that I might not. I think sometimes if you are just so sold out to that maybe you could make a mistake, but I don't think. I think that'd be rare.
yeah.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.